Welcome once again to Breakfast Central, and we're of course going back straight into our top stories next. Nigeria's cost of servicing debt has surpassed the federal government's retained revenue by 310 billion naira in the first 4 months of 2022. The federal government disclosed this in its 2022 fiscal performance report for 4 months released yesterday. According to the report, the federal government's total revenue for the period was 1.63 trillion naira. While this gulped 1.94 trillion naira. Now, to help us make sense of this report, we have Economic Analyst Gbolahan Olojede, who joins us live. Good morning, Mr. Olojede. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. This, of course, is something that got a lot of Nigerians talking yesterday. Can we, quickly, understand how we got to this point? And of course, if this was definitely a destination that we were headed, regardless of whatever policies the government put in place.
Okay, it did not happen overnight. It happened in several ways, several uncaring ways, several ways in which we were not paying attention to some of the things we should pay attention to. There have been a lot of advices in this direction, both locally and internationally, saying Nigeria must curtail its appetite for borrowing. The reason should be clear. The reason is not because we do not have the right size of GDP for what we are borrowing. The reason is because we are not making money. We don't have the revenue. And it is from the revenue that you can repay your debt or service the debt. If you don't have the revenue, you must naturally stop borrowing or improve your revenue. Let's look at this recent report and see what happened. For example, in this report, we have a situation in which the performance of our oil-related revenue was 39%. Which means if we expected to earn 1 million, we only earned 390,000 naira from oil in that quarter being reported on. While from the taxes, we had about 84% performance. So the revenue fell short dramatically. Because the revenue fell short dramatically, we found ourselves in a debt trouble. The debt servicing has now exceeded the revenue that we were able to make, because debt servicing does not, it doesn't fall short. In fact, it's referred to as non-discretionary expenditure, which means you don't even have a control over it. So you have something that you don't have a control over at 1.94, then your revenue that is supposed to be like 4 trillion, you only made 1.9, or only made 1.63 trillion. Obviously, the gap is out there. And here we are in serious trouble. If we don't deal with the distortion in this economy, if we go on like we're going, by the end of next year, we won't be able to pay any salaries in this economy. Not another federal government or the state to be able to pay salaries in Nigeria.
Let's talk about what we may or may not have done to prevent us from getting here. We know that the IMF had been giving us warnings. In fact, there was a prediction very recently that by 2026, that all of Nigeria's resources will be used for debt service. And unfortunately, we're seeing that reality happening in 2022. What could we have done or not done? Definitely, there are conversations surrounding fiscal indiscipline. What areas could we have taken, more steps in ensuring that we didn't get here? Or is it something that was totally inevitable?
One of the areas where we failed is even in how we manage the existing revenue. When you have a situation in which an accountant general could be said to have pocketed about 170 billion, that is an individual. It's a major issue. So the wastages in government, and wastage in government is a major problem. Corruption remains a major problem. That has to do with the some of the existing revenue profile that we have. Number two is that one of the major income sources of Nigeria is oil. Now, oil theft, vandalism, oil theft has risen to an industrial scale. It has become an industry in itself because the quantum of oil that is being stolen It's no more petty thieves. These are vessels being stolen, literally, if you can put it that way. So when a major source of your income has been taken over by robbers who steal them, you're going to be in trouble. Then the last part, and we have not done anything about it. As we speak today, Nigeria is still unable to meet its OPEC quota for oil production. The other part is on the side of the nature of our borrowings too. When you find yourself in a situation in which we have found ourselves, the right thing is to only borrow for very critical issues. So there has to be priorities if you must borrow. And those priorities will have to be very strict. But it seems as if for us, we see borrowing as the easiest way to get money. So let's just go ahead there and get the money. We are not focusing on even addressing the major distortions in the economy. Let me give you a very important distortion in this economy. In 2016, when exchange rate was about 200 naira to a dollar, PMS was 165. Today, officially, exchange rate is about 420. That is more than double. And PMS is still 165. This is an imported item. Have you seen any item? Have you seen anywhere where that works? Where your exchange rate has more than doubled, but the price of the underlying item remains the same. It shows a huge FX subsidy. So the little dollars we're able to earn, we're plugging it into paying for imported product. Why? Because there are no local refineries. If there are local refineries, we wouldn't have had to bother our heads with the huge FX subsidy that we are plugged into importing PMS into this country. And nobody, since the military era, has been ready to address the issue of fuel subsidy in this country because probably elements within the government are also beneficiaries of the scam.
All right, Mr. Olojede, I want you to then also quickly speak on Nigeria's current government, because there were a lot of statements that were made, and we're not trying to politicize the discussion, but there were a lot of statements that were made, before they got into office. The CBN governor has also tried. I don't know how you would rate his own performance. He has also tried in his own efforts to stabilize the naira. He has made efforts towards cryptocurrency, towards Aboki FX. Now we're even talking about dollars, and some new laws concerning dollars in the country. But how would you say that the current government has performed with regards to these issues? Would you say that they do not understand the problem, or they are just not capable enough, to solve these issues?
It is both. Don't forget, for example, that if you take the CBN governor, is an economist, so the background is right. He has been in banking for several years, becoming an MD of a bank. So it cannot be that he doesn't understand what the issues are. But apparently, there are certain matters that requires some calls at a level that is even above him. So when you talk about the Aboki FX and all of that, those were not the issues. And we will see the result of the Aboki FX thing. Those will not solve the problem. Part of what will have, helped to stabilize our foreign exchange is what I just mentioned. Look, we are a country that we do not have much to offer the world so that we can earn forex. The chunk of what Nigeria offers the world to earn forex today is crude oil. Now, when we offer the world this crude oil and they buy it, we earn some FX. We take this FX, let me just simplify. We use the same FX and use it to import refined products back into the economy. So how is the exchange rate going to stabilize? Your exchange rate is driven by your capacity to have things to offer the world so that you can earn forex. If you are not offering anything to the world to earn forex, there is no magic. The monetary policy alone will never fix your exchange rate. For your exchange rate to be fixed, It is both monetary and fiscal policies that must work together to deliver a stable currency. If you're going to have stable currency in this country, production must go up. How will production go up if you don't even have power? The infrastructure is poor. There are these major distortions in the economy that we're not dealing with. Even the critical trade infrastructure like the port are underperforming grossly. So in a whole lot of areas, we have not done well. And there is no magic to this thing until we set our feet on the right direction and begin to do more of the right things, taking more of the right steps. Things will remain as it is. It will get worse. It has actually been getting worse. Some months ago, whenever Nigeria asks for money, want to raise funds, we will get oversubscribed. 200% oversubscribed, 300% oversubscribed. The last one that was raised was undersubscribed. We wanted 200 and something billion. We raised 123 billion. So there is already a problem in that space. That is the market telling you that, oh, this guy is starting to have problems with his ability to meet his obligation. Therefore, let me be cautious. So the people that used to throw money at you are getting cautious. It's a strong warning for us as a country. So we've done some things, no doubt, but the room for improvement is huge.
So it's a lot of work that needs to be done. And of course, it's not a very interesting place to end the conversation. But Gbolahan Olojede, we always love your perspective on these issues. And we'd love to speak with you again. Thank you very much and have a really beautiful weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.